Lads, how are we? Welcome back to the Brotherhood YouTube channel. Today, I have a very special guest, Ciaran Everett. He's a fellow brother, a fellow warrior, and we certainly, most days of the week, battle in the arena of the gym here in Drogheda, Ireland.
Yeah.
And Ciaran's become a good friend of mine since probably the last 6 months, I would say. And he's a part of our Brotherhood inner circle. A crucial part of our community. He's a men's psychotherapist or psychologist who has assisted hundreds of men, and he's very passionate about what he does. And over the last 6 months, he's brought through an incredible framework, which you may or may not have seen on social media, which is the idea of emotional spilling versus emotional containment. So, Ciaran, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
And look, what we're going to chat about today is obviously this framework of yours, and a crucial thing that's assisted me, especially when it comes to a pattern I've had in relationships. And, you know, for yourself, how did you come about this philosophy? And yeah, when did you cultivate it, and what made you cultivate it?
So over the last 4 or 5 years of working as a psychotherapist, a lot of lads would come in and talk to me about their relationships. And men are encouraged to be more vulnerable the last couple of years. And he'd tell me stories about how they were vulnerable with their partner, and over time the relationship would end because women would get the ick and they'd be like, oh, don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
And this would devastate lads, but they're confused because then I'm told to be more emotionally vulnerable. When I do, I get rejected, but everyone's telling that story of being emotionally vulnerable. And then I had to sit with it for a while, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And I was trying to, okay, so what I've noticed is that what no one's talking about is how to be emotionally vulnerable. So as a therapist, I use a lot of attachment theory, and my job as a therapist is more relational. So I'm kind of like the container. I'm kind of helping them become, through the relationship that we have, become more securely attached. So I'm kind of picking up on their kind of behaviors, their emotions, their thoughts, and challenging them. So my role is to kind of help reparent them, and I'm providing containment. So that idea came into my work, but also I'm trained as a logotherapist and existential analyst. So we talk about kind of respond and react. That's a big thing in logotherapy. And I don't know, through having a conversation with you, this all kind of, after the last few years, it kind of solidified a little bit more, containment and spilling. And through that conversation, I was like, okay, so it finally came to fruition for me where I was able to kind of map it out. And I spent the last few months putting together an article, and we spoke about it, and it's actually due to be published this month, which I'm really excited about. And so we'll talk about a little bit containment. Containment is the ability to hold intense emotions, to sit with them, to kind of hold, contain. So when you feel this intensity within you, you're kind of holding it, sitting with it, minding it. Okay, this is mine. You're owning it. You're being emotionally mature. Self-leadership is there as well. Sitting with the emotion, containing it, feeling it, and naming it. Regulating yourself through breath work, spending time alone, talking to your brothers, doing breath work, whatever it is you need to do to hold and contain that intense emotionality. Spilling is the opposite. It's where you come home from work and you're kind of giving out, you're shouting, you're explosive emotionally, you're trying to get someone else to soothe you. You're externalizing your emotions onto the world. It's chaotic, it's messy. It's saying, my inner child is wounded. I don't know how to self-soothe, so I'm going to get you to soothe me.
Yeah, and as we spoke about, that invariably creates or curates or projects this sort of mother figure onto a man's partner, rather than being an equal, or, you know, this woman that I'm here to provide and protect for, she feels emotionally burdened that it's almost like another child that she has to support and soothe.
Yeah. I think a lot of men do that in relationships where they don't know how to contain their own emotions. They lack the skills to sit with their emotions, because it's encouraged to be kind of explosive. Because as men, we grew up in an environment where we're not taught emotional literacy. We're not taught to be emotionally mature, or to how to contain our own emotions. Like, it's the man up, stuff it down with some whiskey. Like, you're 7 years old, you scrape your knee, you're told boys don't cry.
Yeah.
Then we're kind of shut off from that, our own inner world as well.
Well, and I think it's like a pendulum, right? And where there's almost like stoic, completely disconnected from emotion, and then there's men who fling on the other side of the pendulum where it's like completely emotionally expressive. And there's this adaptation right now where we've realized, okay, in the past 100 years or whatever, the ideology around men, stereotypes around men is like, okay, cut off from emotions are weak. Then we've come to this understanding, especially over the last few decades, especially this recent generation, is like, okay, we are becoming more and more open to our emotions, but how do I ensure and how do I go about emotional regulation without tainting polarity within the relationship and for that sexual attraction? I think that's what this philosophy really assists with, where it's, yes, emotions are powerful, but ensuring that I'm still remaining in my frame whilst regulating.
Yeah, because I think that's spot on, because containment is extremely important in relationships. Because women need emotional safety in the context of a relationship, just generally. But if you're not able to contain your own emotions, she's not going to feel safe in a relationship with you.
Yeah, because how are you supposed to assist in containing her or hold space for her if you can't do that for yourself?
Then there's a competitiveness between the two of you, because then when she's emotional and you're emotional, it's like this kind of competitiveness. So it's not polarity. It's kind of like two magnets
I heard
pushing.
More than you.
Yeah. Because it's a lack of internal regulation for a man. It's a wounded child screaming, fix me, fix me, fix me. I'm wounded. You need to fix me.
Yeah.
It's outsourcing your own pain onto someone else, projecting and going, you need to soothe my internal pain.
And not only the pain from right now, it's like you need to soothe all the pain from all the women in the past as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, which goes back to the mother.
Yeah, like the mother wound is an extremely important aspect for male psychology, because it's not something like boys need to be pulled away from the mother from the age of about 7 to 12 by the father. Father's role is to socialize the child and become confident and competent in the world. But most men are, either physically, spiritually, or emotionally absent in some form or degree. And boys don't have healthy role models to teach them how to be man and how to be masculine and how to regulate their own emotions. And emotions are just denied in young men. And that builds that kind of rage, that anger that's in men, and they kind of want to take it out on the world. So they don't know how to hold that intensity.
They don't know how to contain it. Yeah. So then breaking it down here, we're going to share, because you guys seem to love this stuff. So we're going to share it on the screen here and go through a bit of a framework. Alrighty, so having a look at it here, if we were to in a very basic way, break it down. So again, because the visual learning helps. So we've got containment, and then we've got spilling. Right, so if you're to look at spilling, it pretty much is just pure chaos. Right, it's energy all over the place. There's no containment. And it's wanting to seek some sort of soothing, some sort of safe space, yet, however, it doesn't know where that lives or even how to build it.
It's like your nervous system is dysregulated. You don't know how to soothe it, and it's just complete and utter chaos.
That's it. And it's like, I need her to soothe it. I need something else. I need porn. I need addictions. Anything. It's trying to find some way for a high to soothe.
And a lot of men do it through porn, gambling, drugs, sex, drinking, video games. They're just to numb out.
Yeah.
To dissociate. I'm chaotic right now. I do not want to feel. I need to shut down the idea of feeling. And I'm going to do it through externalizing and soothing myself through these addictions.
That's it. Because then the mind goes, it's when there's an uncomfortable emotion, the mind immediately goes, well, I feel uncomfortable, so it must be something externally, so I need to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an important word, escape, because that's what you're trying to do, is that when you're spilling, you're trying to escape intense emotions and feelings rather than sitting with them.
Yeah. There's something wrong. I need to get out of this now. This is not safe.
Yeah.
That's it, which again is the child. So then it's this idea of containment is that self-parent.
Yeah.
Coming in. It's like, hey, man, it's all good. Here's the container. Let's sit down. What do we need? And this is this idea of the containment becomes this house, right? So yes, it's reasonable to say we are going to feel these sort of emotions, right, which is chaos. But these skills of emotional containment allow us to create a safe space. Oh, oops, daisies. I want to go red. A safe space around it.
And that's part of the work that you do is a man is the self-leadership is to father yourself.
Yeah.
So you're reparenting yourself. How can I parent myself in a way that I didn't get from my own father? Because if you were parented well by your father, you'd know how to contain yourself. But a lot of men's fathers are emotionally, physically, spiritually absent from them. So then we don't know how to contain ourselves.
Yeah.
So you need to reparent that self. So that's the self work of doing. I need to reparent myself and respond to sit with this uncomfortable feeling and these emotions that are within me that I don't know how to process. That's the beginning of emotional intelligence. To sit with, to name, and just to kind of allow it to be.
I love it, man. I love it. So then if we were to break it down again visually, we're going to bring in my favorite. Triangles, right? So if we were to look at, spilling, as we said, so it's seeking external regulation. Obviously, the inner child is in control. What was the third piece there? So it's external regulation, inner child, and we had
unprocessed emotional wounds.
Yeah. And we had our emotional wounds. Right. So, breaking that down there. So now let's have a look and we'll bring in the resolution. All right. And then we're going to bring in some examples. So again, it allows us to see. We're going to bring in Mr. Triangle again. So we have containment. So the crucial part here as well is understanding, yes, the self-leadership, or part of self-leadership is having a support system.
Yeah, brotherhood.
Right?
Yeah.
A brotherhood, as we said, in a healthy brotherhood. And that's what we have, a space where where people can be that container for us.
Yeah.
And that we can emotionally spill, but be held. And then therefore, that is not being brought into the relationship. Your relationship is not your place for that emotional soothing or that emotional container. It can be the space where you go and share the insights you've gained and your experience right now, but it's certainly not the place that brings resolution.
Yeah, and brotherhood is extremely important because you have to outsource emotional regulation. You can't do it on your own. You can do it on your own to a certain extent. You can do it brotherhood to a certain extent, and you can do it in therapy to a certain extent. Yes. So you're emotionally outsourcing your world. You're not doing it. You're not sourcing it into one avenue only.
Correct.
A lot of men tend to do that with their partner. Emotionally outsource her as his mother, and you need to move out of that mindset and going into, I need to learn how to do it myself, learn how to do it with my brothers, and to have a good friendship, healthy friendships with other men, which a lot of women, my female clients, would kind of constantly complain about with their partner because he doesn't have that many friends. He's relying heavily on her to emotionally outsource everything to her.
Well, and you think about it, right? It's like, you put yourself in her position. It's like if she's feeling unsafe, she's feeling that load, of course she's going to want to go somewhere else where she can feel free and feminine, that there isn't that load. So it's understandable. You've got to look at the harsh truth of that. Of course she's going to go elsewhere eventually.
Yeah, because sexual attraction dies when the mother-son dynamic emerges in a relationship, and that's quite common.
Yeah.
Because you can see with boys, that kind of wounded inner child seeks a mother, but you need to kind of do some work on that, whether it be in therapy or in brotherhood, or surround yourself with healthy masculine men. If you didn't have a good father figure, men's groups, like this, for example, is really good. You need to outsource it. You need to heal that, because if you heal that inner boy, the inner man can step forward, and that self-leadership can happen in a relationship. And women crave that. They won't tell you explicitly what they want, because they want to know that you're capable of doing it yourself without them telling you. Because if they do tell you, then they become the mother.
Yeah.
You're only doing it because I told you to do it, but rather she wants self-leadership. And you need to find that within yourself.
That's it. And again, that's the power of having healthy male, role models, but also then healthy male support and a team. And then therefore that it enables you to step forward in that self-leadership, for yourself and for the inner child within, but then also within your relationship, and then also within your business and your life. All right. And it's like, even if I'm not in a relationship right now, it's like I'm setting myself up. We don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. It's like, if I'm building these skills within myself, it's inevitable that I'm going to attract an amazing connection, because that's what I'm bringing into the world. All right. So love it. And then that comes back to there, which is that self-leadership, that aspect of self-leadership. And then we could also say, reparenting. So becoming that internal parent for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And then last but not least, then it will be the ability for ownership and communication within the relationship. And now we're going to go on to a few examples, right?
Yep.
In which Ciaran's brought to the front to explain a bit more about the spilling, and then ways in which we can bring in that containment moving forward.
Yeah, so I've put together a few examples of what that looks like in a relationship, because it can be really hard to kind of like look, what is containment? What does that look like? What is spilling? What does that look like? So I'll go through an example, right? So a relationship stress after a bad day. So spilling, what this looks like is when you come home and you say to your partner, I can't do this anymore. Everything is falling apart. Work is a disaster. I'm exhausted and I just feel like you don't even care. I don't know what to do. So what's happening here is that the emotion is being discharged quite raw. The partner is implicitly asked to soothe, fix, or rescue, and the nervous system is flooded. Now, what containment looks like is, I've had a really heavy day and I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed. I'm taking some time to ground myself, but I wanted to let you know why I'm quieter tonight. So what's happening here is that the emotion is being acknowledged and shared, but it's being held. The partner is informed, not burdened. It's like you're reparenting that part of yourself that did not get supported, that has emotional wounds. And I get my clients to imagine yourself as a man. You are now. Your inner child is standing right beside you. What does that inner child need from you right now? Does it need to be held? Does it need to be understood? So you need to come at a place from, I'm going to soothe that part of me right now. And that's extremely helpful and an important work that a person needs to do before, you can do that in a relationship, but spending time doing that work is extremely important to have better relationships in your life. So another example is when you're feeling insecure in a relationship. So spilling, for example, would be something like you're saying to your partner, you're always on your phone. I feel invisible. It's like I don't matter to you at all. So what's happening here is that the person's feeling a lot of pain. They're not responsible for their pain, but they're projecting it outward. So the partner's put on the defensive and pushed into reassurance. I think the thing about spilling is that you're expressing raw emotion, and then you're trying to get your partner to soothe.
Correct.
Soothe me. I'm in pain right now. You did this. Soothe me.
That's it.
So containment here would look like, I've noticed I've been feeling insecure lately when we're both on our phones. I'm checking in with myself about where that's coming from, but I wanted to name it rather than to let it build up. What's happening here is you're taking ownership. The feeling is named without accusation. So you're taking responsibility for your feelings. You're naming it, and then you're just communicating it. Communication is key.
That's it.
It doesn't need to be perfect, but it just needs to communicate. I notice when this happens, and I'm going to communicate it to you.
Man, and it's so true, and that's what we're saying is the ability to yes, outsource the container for your emotions, but also the importance of when things come up, the ability to communicate it effectively, that you're not projecting or putting responsibility onto the other person, but that you can communicate so there's no resentment that builds up. Because then when there's resentment, there'll be anxiety, there'll be performance, there'll be expectation, which will really toxifies the relationship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also another aspect of this is that when you're in a relationship with someone and there's spilling and there's containment, you have to understand where you're coming from, but also how does she react to that? Because in our culture, men have grown up in a way that we're not allowed to express emotion, and that's kind of like we all have it to a certain extent, but women do take this stuff in as well. So for some women, it's like men are not allowed to express any emotion whatsoever. It has to be strong at all times. But that's her wound, her father wound coming out.
Yeah.
So it's to acknowledge that does she have some issues around male vulnerability related to her own father? And like you could be a good container, but she might not receive that well because she's like, you can't express yourself. So
and that's where you're qualifying your safety for your own self and what it is that you want too. Yeah.
Because sometimes men stay in relationships with women that can be abusive because they don't know the difference between containment and spilling. And if they're able to contain, then they're noticing themselves. But you have to think that she also has wounds around her inner child and her father wound.
Yeah.
Because if men are emotionally unavailable for young boys, they're also emotionally unavailable for young women. So we are all kind of wounded. It's how we navigate those wounds through communication, emotional maturity, and being able to contain our own insecurities and pains.
Yeah.
And this is messy stuff. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And once again, I think it's a lot of men is outsource a lot of your kind of emotional security to fellow brothers. That's like other men are brothers.
Yeah.
Therapy, whatever it is you need to do, and to kind of have those conversations with men. Because right now, men are just doing it through addictions, soothing the inner child through gambling, through porn, through drinking, through drugs, through sex, and they don't know how to regulate their emotions, and that's a huge thing.
Or even then, it's like even seeking to apply this, but on your own. And it's like you don't get that instant feedback.
Yeah.
And the review. And again, that is the importance of a team, and that together everyone achieves more, So, man, I agree. And it's like, how did we come to this philosophy? Through our own mistakes.
Yeah. Jesus,
that's it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get it perfect. At least you've got a skill set or a tool set that you can, or a structure that you can fall back to. And that's the essence of this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think male friendships are kind of a massively important thing for men. Like we flourish and grow through having good friendships. If we flourish and grow in male friendships, then that good-naturedness that comes back from that and that joy that we get from it, that is built in, that becomes part of the relationship we have with women, and they kind of receive the gift of us being happy in life.
There we go, lads. So awesome. Below we have linked to a PDF that breaks down that you can work through, gives more examples and insight in terms of this framework. We'd love to hear. I'm going to tag Ciaran's professional Instagram below. We'd love to hear back what you received. We'd love to hear when you go and apply and the insights you gain. And again, it's just the importance of, if you feel the call, it's so crucial to have that healthy brotherhood. So reach out. There's links below you can click in to apply towards our inner circle, which Ciaran is obviously a part of and a crucial component in it. And just remember that you don't have to do it alone. And there is that support out there. So as we always like to say, first and foremost, thank you for jumping on, Ciaran.
Absolutely welcome.
And the mission beckons, the mission calls. Let's fucking go.